Welcome back to Career Podcasters.
What's up?
Welcome to the 10th installment. Can you believe we've been putting out episodes for 10 weeks straight?
Woo! And if this isn't the 10th episode, something happened. I don't know. I would love to say this is the 10th recording, but it's probably like, what, 20 something?
Probably like 22. Yeah, we've been doing this for a long while before we started putting them out, which is kind of crazy, honestly. But, you know,
funny enough,
what it is.
Yeah, we started on Zoom. We were doing Zoom calls for a while.
Because we weren't living together.
Yeah, exactly. So those maybe one day will come out. Those would be pretty funny.
Oh, yeah, those will be hilarious. I think those will be good Patreon content for those of you who stick around long enough for the Patreon to actually become a thing in the near future. So we'll see what happens. We'll see how it's good. And we got a lot in store tonight. This is like one of the few times where we're not just going off with conversation, but I think we got a couple things to go over before we get into our main event tonight. How's the Soylent journey going for you, brother?
Dude, it's been cool. Shout out Joe Rockwell. He said he wants some Soylent. He wants to catch up. One of our biggest fans.
Yes, sir.
Dude. So I only ate Soylent for 5 days. I did a Monday through Friday, and felt pretty good. I didn't feel like amazing out of this world, which is kind of why I stopped. But now I do Soylent throughout the day, breakfast, lunch, and I just have one dinner meal at night. But Soylent throughout the rest of the day, it's pretty good. I like it. It's very easy. It's very quick. So I think I'll stick with it, but I'm not going all the way. I just realized it's too much and I like food too much and it's not going to happen.
Well, also I think because like you said, you don't want your body to react super poorly every time you do reintroduce food, which could definitely happen if you get too caught up in the Soylent cycle.
Exactly. And like I did eat food on Friday because we were like going out with people and I wasn't going to like not go out and all that. So I was like, okay, fuck it. And then I felt insanely bloated and just felt like shit. And so I was like, okay, I got to have a balance here. So I think I'm starting to find it. We'll keep updating on it, but it's been so far so good.
I think it's cool, man. I think it's a cool thing to do. You know, I think it's a journey that more people could be willing to take. I think maybe not going so extreme, just kind of, you know, starting to consume less like we were talking about last episode, just kind of realizing how what you're putting in your body makes you feel and how adjusting your lifestyle can add either benefit or detriment, and only you can decide that. But I think it's a cool thing to at least experiment with. Yeah,
it's been fun to see. It's interesting what you can like adjust yourself to. So it's been fun. Yeah. Also, this will come out later, but today's May the 4th. Happy Star Wars Day.
Happy Star Wars Day.
You know, in California, it's like a legit holiday.
Oh, for real?
It's a real, like, since I think 2019, it's like officially Star Wars Day.
Because shout out George Lucas, fellow Bay Area boy.
Yeah, exactly. Lucas Farms is like.
Have you ever been to the Lucas Ranch in San Francisco in Golden Gate Park?
I haven't. My dad actually worked on it though.
Oh, he did?
He helped build a set forever ago, just before he was doing construction, just a side kind of gig, which is pretty cool, I think.
That is fucking cool.
Yeah,
that's really, really cool.
I don't know what he did. Maybe it never came to fruition, but it was pretty cool. He did a job out there. And then I was like, oh shit, this is Star Wars. We're huge Star Wars fans. We plan to do a Star Wars episode, bonus one sometime.
It'll come. It didn't come on May the 4th, but it'll come.
Yeah, it'll definitely come. But yeah, man, it's been pretty fun.
Yeah.
You know, fuck it. Let's just get into our game. I think it'll be fun. So
okay.
We have this game. If those of you seen online, there's those corny like best friend challenge games. So we kind of took a spin on that. We're gonna try. Normally you have like more people. It's like a game. We do have our little whiteboard here.
Keep tally.
We're going to keep tally. We'll show you at the end to see who gets it more. But we've got questions from other people, from online. Some we came up with ourselves. And we're going to ask each other. And then we both have to guess what I guess the other person is thinking. So if it's like, what's my favorite color? Normally you'd like write it down ahead of time. We're just going to go on our trust here that we wouldn't change it. So then I'll think, okay, my favorite color is blue. And then you'll go blue. And then I'll ask you, it's like, okay, what did you pick? And you're like blue. It'll be like, oh fuck, mine's blue too, whatever. I like to think we're gonna get a bit more than that, so I like to call it the how to lose a best friend game. More so if we get into that deep.
I feel like once we get to round 3, we're actually gonna learn some stuff. I feel like we're gonna we're gonna shoot some stuff in the dark because it's not. I think the way you explained it was almost entirely right, except that we're actually going to be asking about what is my thing, and the other person is going to have to guess that for somebody. It's not going to be like seeing if we have the same answer. It's going to be seeing if the other person knows the answer for the other person.
True.
Right?
Well, that would be the same answer. So if I go, what's my favorite color?
Gotcha.
And you guess it correct. Okay. My answer is obviously going to be correct.
And you're saying we just have to keep it honest since we didn't have it written down ahead of time. Yeah, most people have like the pieces of paper
like,
so that they can't change.
I think it's blue and you go blue, and just like to win the game, I go, well, actually it's purple.
Fuck that. We're best friends. We're going on the honor system here.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
We have this trust. Let's see if that gets fucking ruined tonight.
Yeah, maybe I'll change some, but we'll think ahead of time and try to think of like what it is and stick with it.
First question, because you might need it. When is my birthday?
September 18th.
Perfect. That's going to be if you need to unlock the questions.
Oh, okay. Yeah. The question's on the phone. Yeah, I know that one. I know your password. That's easy. When's my birthday?
July 10th, my man.
Whoa.
The day before Free Slurpee Day.
Yes.
I knew this because every single year, Alex would throw a sleepover at his house on July 10th. It was always a summer birthday.
Yep.
And every morning after, because we'd stay up pretty much all night, at least until the sun rose. And then we'd sleep till noon or 1 the next day. And every single year, without fail, we had our free Slurpees in hand every single time.
The next day, get our sugar up. I love Slurpees also. That's super funny. It is perfect.
Yeah.
Because I fucking love Slurpees. But yeah, dude, it's funny back then. That was like the thing to do was just like, let's just stay up as late as possible. And it was like, yeah, we're being crazy.
We would play BS. We would watch. Do you remember a Demented cartoon movie?
No, I don't know if I don't remember that.
Ziggy Boogie Duke.
Oh, I do remember that. It's like the guy who blows up the world. It's like, imagine every time I said Ziggy Boogie Doo, the world exploded. And it's like,
nuclear bomb went off.
Yeah, it's like, what do you mean? And he's like, Ziggy Boogie Doo. He's like, whoa, it just works like that? Ziggy Boogie Doo. And then
dude, the early days of the internet were fucking wild. Like stickpage.com and we would do all that stuff. The Ultimate Showdown.
Yes, Ultimate Showdown's great.
Oh, Godzilla was hopping around Tokyo City like a big playground.
We were referencing people we didn't even know who they were. It was like Chuck Norris was the hero. I was like, I don't even know who Chuck Norris is.
Mussolini? I was saying like Mussolini in like second grade, like having no idea that he was this awful fascist dictator.
Yeah, literally no clue. Also,
yeah, crazy shit, man.
Eating another chocolate liqueur. Those who know me, I fuck with my chocolate liqueurs.
He really, really fucks with his chocolate liqueurs.
I'm not going to eat like 10 again like I did last time. Funny enough, we recorded video for that one and it didn't work out. And so I just ate like 10 chocolate liqueurs for no reason on camera. Okay, Matt.
All right, let's get this fucking show on the road. I'm going to start us off in honor of May the 4th and to kick off this game with easy categories. What is my favorite canon Star Wars film?
Okay. Well, Disney changed the canon when they bought it. So I think 1 through 9 are canon, including the spin-offs.
I would agree.
So it's between 5, 6, and Rogue One. You really like Rogue One, and I know you argue that it's like the best Star Wars movie. Mm-hmm. I think you know on the inside that's not true. Like, it's good. It's a good film, but bro, there's like not even lightsabers till the very end. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna go with number 5. I'm gonna lock it in.
Episode 5 is 100% correct.
Now,
it is absolutely the best Star Wars film ever made.
I agree it's the best one, but what is my favorite? Do you know? Oh, that's a hint. It's not number 5.
Okay, I know.
Really, really opens it up.
It does.
It's not number 5.
It does open it up. And there are actually, I think for you, a couple dark horse answers. I know you're a huge fan of episode 2.
Correct.
And
I like it more than the average person.
Yeah, you like episode 2.
For
like,
no good
you and
reason.
Jack both like episode 2 a freakish amount for
Just
no
the
reason
arena
at all.
scene is sick.
It's so good. Episode 6, I think, is in contention for you. And I know you're also a huge fan of episode 4 as like the kickoff. But I don't think episode 4 comes in at your number 1. So I'm going to go with the sleeper hit answer and lock in episode 2.
You're insane. No. It's number 6. It's number 6.
Okay, it's episode 6.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
That's the correct answer. I just wanted to see.
Your thought process was spot on. Like, that's exactly correct. And I love number 2, but I can't rate it higher than number 6.
It's I if the answer ended up being right, I would have judged you a little hard.
No. Number 2 is like my personal favorite that I rate higher than the average person on any of them. But I would say number 6 is my favorite, closely followed by number 5. I just really like Ewoks. Ewoks are dope.
The Ewoks are sick.
So number 6 mine. But yeah, we're going to start off with a couple softball ones.
Definitely.
And then we'll go from there.
Gotcha. Do you need to see the list or do you know your question?
Yeah, let me see it.
Take a gander. But yeah, I think episode 2 is really good. Worst Star Wars film to me has definitely got to be episode 3 or
Worst?
episode 9.
Okay,
Episode 9 was awful.
I've only seen it the one time, so I'm hesitant to judge number 9.
Yeah.
But I agree, 9 and actually I think 8's worse than 9.
Yeah.
Because of how it doesn't fit in with 7 and 9. 8 to me doesn't make sense with 7 and 9. If the rest of the story went that way, it's okay.
9 just tried to do too much. They jumped around so much. It's like Snoke was introduced. Snoke is dead. Fucking he doesn't matter. Palpatine's back with no fucking foreshadowing at all.
But the thing is, like, Palpatine coming back made no sense. But
Episode 7 was good.
episode 7 was solid.
Episode 7 was solid.
I think I like them all. I would have to say probably 9. I mean, 8 is probably my least favorite. But I think the worst one is episode 1.
Damn, but best lightsaber fight in the entire series.
And pod racing is sick.
So sick.
But we're a younger generation where we grew up on 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
So we're a bit more biased though. Yeah. I think the average person would say number 1 is the worst.
Yeah. Because of Jar Jar.
Yeah. Or one of the newest ones.
Jar Jar and the kid that played Anakin.
Yeah. Little Annie. He's all right. Okay. Let's do another couple easy ones. What was my celebrity crush as a kid? Not as a kid, but just like, I guess, like growing up.
This is actually a hard one for me to remember because we did have a lot, but
of course,
if I had to lock in the one that you're going to remember and the one that we hyped up a lot when the Hunger Games came out, I'm gonna go with J-Law.
Ooh,
Jennifer Lawrence.
I didn't think of J-Law. I love J-Law. It's actually Emma Watson. Hermione Granger.
Fuck, I should have known that one from the Harry Potter movies. That's such an easy one.
Yeah.
Shit. I went Hunger Games for some reason because like that's the one I frequently remember. Like 8th grade, us just fanboying over Jennifer Lawrence.
We loved J-Law. That's very fair.
Yeah.
What would yours be? My first rip guess, and when I think of like younger, like the age I liked Emma Watson, I would say Megan Fox.
That is a really good guess, but my honest first thought when I first saw this question was Mila Kunis.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Mila Kunis. Remember I had the pictures of her in my binder in school? And it was like her in a bikini, and I remember our 8th grade teacher just looking at it one day and being like, Matthew, I don't know if that's school appropriate. And I was like, what's not school appropriate about it? And she's like, I can't quite put my finger on it, but I just don't think it's appropriate.
That's actually really true. Like, what could they say like about it? Oh yeah, here's our scoreboard.
Also, okay, so you got the Star Wars question correct. I did not. We both got the celebrity crush one wrong.
Yeah, so it's just one. Here, we'll just leave this here, and I'll just reach down and mark it.
Okay.
I can mark both.
Gotcha.
About that.
I like the way that you set that up, and we'll show it like every now and then.
Yeah, actually, maybe we won't show it. We'll show it at the end, and you guys can keep tally at home if you
gotcha.
Like. For those who are on the video.
Who's the worst friend? Because that's the context that we're doing it in here.
Pretty much,
who's going to lose the friendship at the end of the day?
Okay.
You throw out a couple right now.
Okay, I'll do a couple.
We'll reciprocate.
One I think that's just kind of...
Because these are the softballs.
Yeah. What is my go-to drink at a bar? What do I order at a bar?
So I thought about this one, and I'm going to give 2 answers. I think number 1 lock-in in terms of general drink, you're going with a beer.
Correct.
You're going with a beer. Now, if you were to order hard liquor, I might be mistaking you with another one of our close friends, but I think you are one of the people that hype up the gin and tonic.
Interesting. No.
No, that's not you.
No.
Fuck, okay.
I think that's Jack.
Is it Jack? That Jack likes the gin and tonics?
I don't know if that's true.
It also might be Omar, who is nothing like you.
Yeah. I wouldn't say we're nothing alike, but
No,
yeah.
In
this
that
sense.
realm, in that sense.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, you're going with beer pretty much always at the bar, right?
Almost always. Yeah. I'm not a huge mixed drinks guy, but I also haven't like explored it a ton. For you, I would say, well, I feel like you'd probably get a beer.
Yes.
But maybe an old fashioned.
You are 100% correct. And that was my first drink, was going with old fashioned.
Nice.
You are 100%
You know, I was
right.
going to say I was between gin and tonic and old fashioned. And then when you made that comment, I was like, well, it's not gin and tonic. Like,
Yeah. And if I was keeping it honest, it's good that you locked in old fashioned because since I turned 21, when I was rocking with the fake back in the early college days, I was going beer every single time. Just because I was young and I wanted to drink.
It's just what you know.
Yeah, it's what I knew. But when I really started to get that refined taste in alcohol, I judge a bar and the bartenders off of their ability to make me an old fashioned.
Okay.
So it's what I go for. If I'm trying a bar and I think it's actually an establishment that is a good one, yeah, I'm going off the old fashioned every single time.
I'm gonna say we both got that one.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, what else do we got here? What else do I got here? Let's see. What are 3 items that we always have on us? This is kind of tough. I feel like this is maybe more for like people who carry like a purse or something. We don't really carry a lot on us, but I saw it online. I saw it in a couple places, so I thought I'd ask. I don't actually know my own answer, to be fair.
Well,
maybe this isn't a good one.
The obvious answer to me is phone, wallet, keys.
Well, that's kind of why I put it, because that was the joke. Is like, I know yours is phone, wallet, keys.
It's always phone, wallet, keys.
Because I remember you used to always forget them, and I was telling you, like, you got to just in your head, phone, wallet, keys, and you tap each pocket. And then you know which
we
one's
would.
which.
So that was an easy one. But
right, we'll throw that out.
No. I have a good reciprocal question.
Okay,
though.
sure.
What is one item that I always have on my keys, and it's been years that I've always had this one item on my keys? I've never not had a set of keys without this item on it.
Huh.
You won't like lose points for getting this one wrong. This is a bonus.
If I get it wrong, I don't get points. So.
That's true.
I want to say a bottle opener.
You get 1 point, my man.
Yeah, I know the one. It's actually right there.
It's sitting right there. I knew it too. I was gonna see if you could think of it.
Well, I remember you had like the mammoth one or whatever, right?
Yeah, that was a gift actually.
Yeah.
Fucking speaking of Joe Rockwell, I'm pretty sure you took that from me, buddy. He'll deny it too. I know he denies it every time, but I'm pretty sure.
That's a good one for the keys. What's one thing I guess I've always had on my keys? I have one part of my keys that's always been on there. This is kind of a weird one because it's not.
This is kind of a weird one, but no, I think I know the answer, and I'm gonna lock in. You're a lanyard guy.
Yeah, I've always had a lanyard. I realized the really big ones. That's what I was thinking of. So correct.
Okay, cool.
But I used to have the really big ones, and I realized those were kind of dumb. I have a very short Warriors one.
I know.
Now.
Yeah, yours is very small now. You've upgraded so that it just sticks in the pocket.
Yeah,
it's not hanging out.
I don't want the shit hanging out like it's a fucking chain wallet or something. Like I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I agree. I think that's that
was a good change of the question. That was good. Okay, here's a good one. I thought. When did I have my first kiss? And I put kiss/girlfriend. These could be different answers, but also what you really consider a girlfriend. Like if you're in whatever age, maybe it doesn't really count.
Actually, I like it. I like keeping this open for girlfriend.
Yeah, at the time, what we considered a girlfriend, I guess.
First kiss for you. See, my initial thought was middle school, but I'm gonna say young baller Alex had his actual first kiss sometime around late preschool, kindergarten era.
Late preschool. Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, scratch that one. When would you think it is? Like a legit one when you're like a bit older.
Gotcha.
I actually didn't, at least in my memory, don't have one in those younger years. Yeah. People are like,
in my memory, I don't either.
Yeah. So
we'll eliminate that right now. I'm gonna guess 7th grade then.
It was actually the start of 8th grade, but very close, very close. I think I actually technically had my first girlfriend in 7th grade, but we never kissed.
God.
We just held hands and walked around.
We were dating, bro.
But yeah, I had my first kiss behind a Ross in like a grassy field.
I remember this.
And I remember always telling people, it's like, yeah, it's Ross dressed for less, but
She
really
went to our rival island Catholic school, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And I remember being like, it's Ross undressed for less now. And like being like, yeah, I'm the shit. It's like a whole new meaning.
It's a big moment in the young man's life.
Dude, I was so nervous. I remember like the girl was obviously very down and I was just like not making the move at all. Still probably am like that, to be fair. So that's a tough one. Okay. Here, I'll toss it back to you.
Well, I'm gonna reciprocate that one.
Yeah.
Do you know mine? This is actually a toughie.
I don't think I know it. So
Really?
I'm gonna have to throw out a guess.
Throw out a guess. Just throw out your guess.
So man, this is tough. Because I have like a solid answer, but it feels kind of late. So I'm just gonna throw out sophomore year of high school.
No, much earlier. Much earlier.
It must have been 8th grade then.
So the specific answer would be the summer in between 7th and 8th.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So I would have taken 7th or 8th grade since it was that weird limbo period. And it's funny, I was also incredibly nervous, and one of my self-confidence destroying moments is her and I were cool way after this, but she told all the girls in our class that I was a horrible kisser.
Yo, okay, I do remember this now, and yeah, that's pretty funny. I do remember that.
I was so like, well, what did she expect? It was my first one.
Like she's a fucking professional.
Exactly.
Like she knows.
Back when we were 12 years old. Fucking
funny.
Christ. Like,
so I'm gonna give you that one. I don't think I get that one, but you were pretty dead on because mine actually might have been that summer too, which is actually kind of cool.
Yeah.
It was about the same time.
yeah, that's
I
interesting.
think mine was like right around then. Funny enough.
Okay, cool.
All right, see if you get any more softball ones. We have kind of 3 tiers. We have like the very easy, kind of more into it, and then we have a couple last ones.
Okay, this one is a softball in terms of our categories, but I'm going to throw out arguably the hardest softball that I put on here. What is my favorite video game of all time?
Oh my God. So I feel like the fun answer is the original Super Mario Bros. With Donkey Kong climbing up.
That is a really fun answer.
Because I used to actually have an NES where you could play the arcade one, and Matt played the shit out of that game.
I got so good.
And was really good at it. And so it was like, oh, fuck. But maybe not that one. It's tough, dude. If I'm going to go classic, I'm between Ratchet and Clank, Up Your Arsenal, or Battlefront 2. Star Wars Battlefront 2. I don't think either of those are correct, to be honest. But I'm going to go ahead and do... Oh, fuck, dude. I don't know.
Told you this is the hardest softball one. I know.
Tony Hawk American Wasteland. I don't know.
Solid guess.
I don't know. That was
solid
a
guess. So you were completely right when you started guessing in the PlayStation 2
I knew it was
era.
that era.
But my favorite video game of all time, like in my personal opinion, the most playable game ever.
It's like NHL 14 or something.
Jak 3.
Jak 3. Okay, Ratchet and Clank was close.
Ratchet and Clank was super close. I was like, ooh, he's almost on the money.
Yeah. I never played Jak and Daxter, so I didn't really think of that right away. That's a good game. That's a very good game.
That game, I probably put 800 to 1,000 hours into that game when we were kids.
I wish we had like nowadays, if you play games on your computer on Steam, they track your hours and stuff. I wish we had that back then.
Yeah, we didn't. That's a complete guess because like now we could actually look, but
knowing now,
and the reason I guess that much is because that's an open world game. It is the only open world game that I've ever completed 100%.
Wow. Yeah, I don't really 100% games too often too.
Yeah. It's the only game I've ever 100%ed.
That's wild. Any idea what mine would be?
Favorite game.
I feel like mine are a bit more clear.
Of all time.
I'll give you a hint. They played it together.
We have. So.
Well, that's a lot of fucking games as well.
We have. So I think the easy. For me, it's a Nintendo game, and the 2 clear answers to me are either Fire Emblem or Super Smash Bros. Melee. And to be completely honest, I'm actually gonna go because we have played it together before. No, fuck that. It's Melee.
It's not Melee.
Fuck. Is it Fire Emblem?
Melee to me is the greatest game ever made. Fire Emblem to me is the greatest game series ever made, but there's actually not one game that I really love. Like, I love all of them a lot, but none's my favorite. Favorite game ever is Terraria.
Oh.
Yeah.
Of course. But of course.
Yeah, so Terraria's
How could I have forgotten? Wood for days.
Wood for days. So Terraria is kind of like a Minecraft, not necessarily a spin-off. They almost came out around the same time, but it's 2D platformer style, but very in-depth, very elaborate. We used to play it so much, and we had a clan, a kind of crew called Wood for Days, because you have to like mine wood.
It was so much fun. It was so much fucking fun.
And we used to have a Skype group, and we'd be on there. That's pre-Discord days, pre-FaceTime days. That's a good one. I can't believe I got Jax 3. I should have known that though.
Yeah, no, Jak 3. So I knew it was a hard one because it's one that I haven't talked about in years.
Yes.
But during its peak, I talked about it pretty much every day.
As soon as you said it, I was like, "Yep, that's it." Yeah, it clicked.
So I have 2 more softballs that I want to go over. First one's way softer. Second one is actually kind of a hard one.
Okay.
I was gonna do favorite restaurant in the U.S., but we literally just talked about that tonight, so that would have been
Lotus of Siam
Lotus of Siam
in Las Vegas.
Las Vegas, Nevada, dude. High wreck of the week coming early. If you find yourself in Las Vegas, fuck the strip. Go to this little strip mall in, I believe, East Las Vegas. It's right off Flamingo, but you
look it up.
Yeah, look it up. Lotus of Siam. It is the best Thai food, probably best Asian food you'll get in the country. So, easier softball first. This is another one that I haven't talked about in a while, but we're going back in the day. Not artist. What is my favorite band of all time?
Favorite band of all time?
Yes, favorite band.
Childhood us would say Green Day, but I don't think that's it. I think it's Sublime.
You are correct. 1 point for you with Sublime.
Let's fucking go.
Sublime is easily my favorite band of all time.
Yeah,
never related more.
Okay, good. I'm trying to think of what my favorite band would be. You want to tell me what my favorite band would be? Because I don't know what it is.
Well, in terms of like, because I consider groups in general bands, no matter what type of music they are. It doesn't have to be a classic like alternative band. I think yours would be Starfucker.
Ooh, that's actually pretty good. I think it would be too.
Because they're not solo artists; they're a group.
Correct. Starfucker is pretty up there for best group. I'm really trying to rack my brain for anything, but Starfucker's pretty good. I'll go with that. Yeah. I'll say that's right.
Yeah,
so we both get that one.
Yes, sir. Some points all the way around. Look at that.
Yeah.
All right. The last of the softballs.
Okay.
And this one is extremely difficult because this is actually one that I don't think I've expressed with you other than just talking about it. Like, you may know it.
We've never said directly like, this is my...
I haven't.
Yeah.
What is my comfort show?
Comfort show?
What is the show that I put on when I just want to unwind and forget about the world and relax and bring myself a next level of comfort?
Interesting. Can I get one hint?
You can get one hint.
Did you watch it a lot in college?
Yes.
Is it Reno 911?
No.
Oh, okay.
Damn, you know what? Okay. We're gonna give you a second round because you kind of gave yourself the hint, and my hint was gonna make it easier, which was that it's not a live action show.
Oh, it's like a cartoon or something. Nah, dude, I still feel like I don't know. Maybe it's like Regular Show or something.
Regular Show's a really good guess. I did talk about that one a lot.
I don't know. Maybe if we're going way back, it's like Family Guy or something.
Nope.
I don't know.
My comfort show is SpongeBob SquarePants.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's pretty good. Wow.
Do you have a comfort show? Do you have one that like you put on repeat? Kind of like music or no?
No, there's no shows that I watch on repeat. My comfort show, I would say, is NADPOD, not another D&D podcast. To me, that's what I listen to. Any of their content, any of their side stuff is how I just kind of like unwind. But I only learned about that like a year ago, so it's pretty recent. I wouldn't say that's really my comfort show.
Gotcha.
That's a good one though.
It is a good one, right?
Good question.
Just to make sure, are there any more softballs before we move on to category 2 that you're itching to ask? We flew through these, so we I think we have time for a couple more if you're itching to ask.
Yeah, nothing crazy on here. Maybe just a fun one would be, what's your favorite album of all time?
So what's your favorite? So I have to guess what your favorite album ever is.
We'll swap it, of course.
This is really, really, really
What's my
tough because
favorite
there's
album?
so many good albums. But I would say I'm going to go with what I would think your favorite album from your favorite artist is, and the all-time standing best album for you is going to be Barter 6, Young Thug.
No, but it holds a very special place. It's
Good
a
guess though, right?
Great guess. It is my favorite artist, Young Thug. That's a very good shout. My favorite album, I actually don't know if I have like one, but one that I go back to, because I have a big recency bias. I'm very just into like new music, so it's tough for me to look back. One I look back on and I feel like it's pretty much no skips is 2 Mac DeMarco.
Fuck! I should. God damn it!
Barter 6 is a great call, but it's just like not stand out enough. There's some songs that are a little bit more forgettable. That one is like almost no skips. Other than that, maybe Finally Rich, Chief Keef is up there for me.
But of course.
Yeah, it's tough because albums are different.
Bitches love Sosa, Rarries and Rovers. You gonna get fucked over.
I remember there was a great parody that was like "Bitches love soda, Pepsi da Cola."
Bro, I'm
funny.
actually really disappointed in myself for not getting 2, because one, I put that as we've mentioned in the previous episode, we do with a group of our friends albums of the year, and in 2020 we did albums of the decade,
Which would assumably be our top album of all time.
Yeah,
Usually.
yeah, for us, for sure.
I don't think 2 actually was my number 1 on that list. I think it was number 2, funny enough.
It was my number 1, which
It
is
was
why,
your number 1?
Yeah,
I
you
guess
and I,
that's your favorite album?
you introduced it. It's definitely my favorite album of all time.
Wow, yeah.
There's no question.
That's very funny. We have the same favorite album, probably. I had put something else at number 1, but I can't recall at the moment. So I guess it wasn't that good.
Yeah, honestly, like in Russia, but that's what always happens with those lists anyway. That it always comes back. But
even now, these things are pretty close, but they could vary a couple spots. When
Funny
stuff
eno-
like this, the best or whatever.
funny enough, too, if we were to do a softball question, my favorite concert of all time was with you, that Mac DeMarco concert for that was the Salad Days tour.
Correct.
But he played a bunch of music off of.
Yeah, because that's all he really had. He
2.
didn't play any of like the really early stuff, but he played pretty much just 2 in Salad Days and like covers and shit. It was awesome.
Oh my God.
Great
it was
show.
so good. It was such a good show. And that was like, we had that little Marley natural pen of mine, and it was at the Warfield in San Francisco.
Yep. I remember I saw my first mosh pit there. I fell in love with mosh pits.
Dude, crazy story. Quick sidebar. So Alex and I also saw one of the craziest fucking things either of us had ever seen that night. So we're sitting there at the concert, enjoying ourselves, having a good time. You know, we're a little stoned, and Mac is playing his show. And we both, for some reason, turned around at the same time because we heard a little bit of commotion.
Yeah.
And we were on the bottom floor of the Warfield, and there's 2 levels. There's the seats above, and then there's the general admission on below. So we're standing in the general admission section, and we both turn around at the perfect moment and see somebody just fall from the balcony up top. And we were both kind of like, we were young and a little stoned. So we were like, did we really just see that? And we forgot about it almost instantly. And about 2 weeks later, I walked up to one of my friends who also happened to be at the show. He was like, dude, I was on the 2nd level, and some girl who was just geeked out on something was like, I love you, Mac, and ran and jumped off of the balcony. She had to get like an ambulance out of there. She messed herself up, dude.
It was rough.
But it was real. We actually saw that happen.
And the weirdest part is like the show just kind of went on.
Nobody noticed.
Like it was
really?
like she fell, people were like, ooh, and then just like turned back around. And it was just like, yeah, this
As
is fun.
I'm getting older, chip upon my shoulder.
It is kind of the music where it's like, nothing can really bother me right now. Like everything's fine.
Wow, that was so much fun.
That's a good one.
That was so much fun.
All right, let's get into our next level here.
All right, level 2. We're getting a little deeper here.
Okay.
We're going one deeper.
Let's do. The thing is, I wrote these questions, or at least wrote them down, and I don't even know the answers for myself, really, but I'll try to think. Again, this is biggest role model or biggest influence in my life. Which person had like the most impact, I guess, on who I am now?
So there's a couple answers here. Of course, the immediate one that comes to mind is our former soccer coach and mentor, Feldman.
It's a big one, for sure.
Huge one in both of our lives. He guided us. He really taught us a lot about the value of hard work and kind of finding your place in the world, and showing up and looking out for your friends. I think he really helped us create that bond that we had with so many of those soccer guys that's still around today, where if we run into any of them,
it's a brotherhood.
Yeah, it was really weird. He ran it very much like a little high school fraternity.
It was. And when you were a freshman, you got hazed for sure. No, it wasn't that bad.
Quote unquote.
No, it wasn't
that bad at all. But I know that there have also been other...
I would say he's like my truest mentor.
Yeah.
To be someone who just kind of came out the blue and was like, hey, I'm going to take it upon myself to like help this kid. So that's a really good call.
It's a good call, but I think my locked in answer is going to be your father, instilling a certain work ethic in you and just how you approach life and your decision making. You also, I think, inherited a lot of your dad's laid back analytical sensibility and just kind of approach to things. Throughout my life, I've noticed that you definitely picked up that trait from him of just being very easygoing and thinking about things and very like, oh, well, if this is happening, then I'm doing this. And I'm going to lock in JP.
Pamela, my mom, actually. I would
Damn.
Obviously, it's
so
like
close.
It's hard to like
it's hard.
pick which one, but it's kind of a joke in my family that like I look more like my dad, but I act more like my mom, and my brother's the other way around. I do get obviously so much from my dad, but my mom is definitely who taught me how to move, how to act, how to get through life for sure. More of the like, you gotta like be smart, you gotta like work smarter, not harder, get ahead. I remember my mom almost being like, not telling me to like cheat on tests and stuff, but like, hey, if this is what you need to do whatever you can.
Fucking do it.
To get it done, right? Yeah. And just kind of like how to finesse life in like a certain way, but not in like a immoral way either.
Yeah.
Which was really cool. And something that I definitely base a lot of myself around. You're right. I think a lot of my like stuff that I don't consciously think about comes from my dad. More being laid back, like, it's water on my back or whatever the saying is.
Because like even when I come to you for advice or I complain a lot. I'm a complainer, and I think the advice that you always give me that's very JP like is just, dude, why are you complaining about it? And in what way is this helping you? Just be happy. Come on. You
exactly.
You have a pretty great life, and like let's run with it. But also, I was at your house so much growing up. I can definitely see that answer, and both of your
Obviously
parents are like
both.
second parents to me. Oh, yeah. Of course. And families, if you ever do tune into this, you of course have huge influences in our lives. This is just the number one. We have to think about this. So
it's and I think when I consciously think about it, it's my mom. But when you brought it up, I went, fuck, maybe it is my dad. And it probably is a mix of both. Yeah. But you're right. The big thing.
I don't get the point. Remember, we're being honest here. Your initial answer was your mom. So exactly. If it was on paper, I would not gotten the point.
I agree with my dad. That's more like, he was like an immigrant who came to this country and like gave up everything and worked really hard, which makes him also very like, you got to be happy for what you have and like, very humble. Which I think I strive for, but maybe I don't have yet. Maybe I'll unlock that a bit later. But I try.
So you do a really good job too. I think you're one of the most humble people I've ever met. The one aspect you're not super humble in is your decision making. Like when you make a decision, you're like, nope. This is right. This is correct. This is what you need to do. And that's like but other than that, you're not braggadocious. You're not cocky. You're a very humble person. And I think you're also very good about not comparing struggles, but recognizing that sometimes your struggles are very minuscule in the grand scheme of the world. And you're just like, there's people that have it a lot worse, and I need to put myself in greater check when I'm ever upset, which is why you're also one of the people I know that's best about really not getting upset about anything. Obviously, you get upset about stuff, but you're really good at just maintaining temperance.
Yeah, or at least not showing it. And I think I also got that from my dad, because my dad's definitely like that. And I realized later that, it could make him upset, but he at least won't show it because it's useless in that moment to just get upset and mad and let loose kind of in that way. So definitely I try to just stay even keeled because that's like what works. But the decision making is definitely from my mom. Yeah. Because my mom is kind of like, I'm going to do all this research and everything so that I know I'm right. And to her, it's like, that is the right decision, like final. But it's also something I'm trying to work on though. Like, yeah, this is right. Usually I'm very stubborn, but I take in the info and then I think about it later and then I go, okay, fuck, maybe I was wrong. But it takes me a while to sit on it. Definitely.
Who do you think is the most influential person in my life?
I mean,
this is a range too.
Yeah, obviously it's a bajillion people and it's hard to weigh influence.
This is a hard one. It is.
Yeah.
It's hard to weigh what influence truly is.
Yeah. To me, right away, it's your dad. Mm-hmm. I feel like I'm going to just lock that.
Locking that right away.
Yeah.
So here's the interesting thing. When I saw that question, right, if I were to write this down on paper, Mom and Dad, I love you both so much. And obviously you were two of the biggest.
Is it Anthony Bourdain?
You would have gotten it if you locked that one in. Yes. I love my parents to death. My dad gave me every bit of my love for social life and learning about people and talking with anybody and everybody that I can, and comedy and just like the lighter side of life, finding the humor in things and staying positive. From my mom, I learned to always be humble. I learned the values of hard work. I learned the importance of family and just being a loving and caring person and looking out for your fellow human. And all of those things made me who I am today. And my family is definitely like, undeniably the biggest influence. However, it was my grandmother that actually first introduced me to Anthony Bourdain. And my grandmother is a huge influence in my life too. True. The way that she approaches things. She kind of sparked my love for philosophy and for travel and introduced me to Anthony Bourdain. And when I started watching No Reservations was when I really started becoming interested in food and this new world view as to stepping out of my comfort zone in a way that, again, of course, my parents sculpted my personality and made me the human I am today. And I'm incredibly appreciative for everything that my parents have ever done for me and taught me, and I take so much from them. But Bourdain was really the one. Like, I would not have gone to India if it wasn't for Bourdain. I would have been too scared. I wouldn't have taken the leaps and bounds that I've taken in my life to step out of what makes me comfortable and trying new things and finding this passion for culture and just this love of all these new experiences that I could have. And my favorite Anthony Bourdain quote of all time is, well, there's a lot, but the one that always sticks to me is, "Your body is not a temple. It's an amusement park. Enjoy the ride." And I heard that and I read that. And it was really when I started watching Parts Unknown and I read Kitchen Confidential, where I was like, this guy just has an outlook on life. And of course, did he influence me in terms of decision I want to make? Do I want to start picking up smack and working in a kitchen and all that stuff? No, absolutely not. But he had a story to tell with everything that he was. And he really inspired me to take this direction that, you know, when you hear me talk about things that I want to do with my life, and again, Feldman also was a huge part of this. And like you said, we both have,
the list goes on.
It goes on. But if I had to pick a number one in terms of my worldview and shaping how I want to live my life, it is definitely the late Anthony Bourdain. Like, biggest influence to me for sure.
That was my other guess. I see that one as more as like, who do you almost look up to as an influence and role model? Like our parents, it's almost like automatic.
Yeah.
That has just seeped into us.
Totally.
But that's one that we look to from afar and take things from. I think that's really good. I don't know if I really have one of those. Like a person I didn't personally know. But I could think on that for later.
I think you do. I
probably
it'll come to me because you've talked about it before, where you're just like, this guy showed me that I can do things. Like, you know,
yeah,
like whatever
I just don't think
to.
it's like one individual, I guess. It's kind of more spread out.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, it's definitely a few things, few common themes amongst people.
Damn, so we were both really close, but
yes,
our lock-ins were both wrong.
Very close. I mean, I think yours was a bit closer, but I also guessed yours right after. But all right, to the next. What is my biggest pet peeve, or what's something that really irritates me? I'll say it's also something that people do. You know what I mean?
I thought about this one when I saw this one earlier, right? Because we were thinking about it a little bit. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I sneak peeked a couple of them as we were creating this list of questions.
Yeah.
But if I had to guess what your biggest pet peeve is of all time, is just willful naiveness. Like people being willfully like ignorant to the social situation around them, because like every time when someone makes like a ridiculous comment, you and I have this unspoken language of just look at me and just be like,
did you really just say that? Like, do you know where we are right now?
Yes. So I'm going to lock in, I think to a more refined answer of that is socially unaware people. People unable to get a vibe check.
Yeah, I think that's a strong one. That's actually not one I thought of.
Gotcha.
So
okay.
Incorrect, but that's actually pretty true. That one does get me. It's something I don't see too often, but you're right. It does make me upset because I'm just like, yo, what the fuck? And like, especially if it's in a larger social setting, like, you know, hey, you're my friend. I brought you here, and now you're acting like this or whatnot. But I've started to learn as I got older that like people genuinely are truly ignorant to those things, and so. Especially when you're younger, like not to hold them on it.
Gotcha.
I would say mine, it's tough. Like you said, I don't really get too upset about things.
You don't.
I don't really have a lot. But one that I know that does get me is wastefulness. Or like...
oh, that's why you're trying to work with me on that one the most.
Yeah. For example, Matt looks in the fridge and he sees something. He's like, I think this is old, and just like throws it away. And it just like... grinds my gears. Like
something else I inherited from one of my influences, Daddy Bacon.
Yeah. And I get it, but also to me, something that I got from my dad and my mom, it was like, yo, like we didn't have shit. Like you don't get to choose what you get to throw away and say like, that's food. You eat that fucking food or whatever it is. Like it is food, but it's also outside of that, just other stuff. Another one's littering. Like my dad hates littering because he's like, my country is full of litter and garbage everywhere, and you don't understand how nice it is to have a clean street, like something we've taken so much for granted. So yeah, wastefulness, usually in like the physical sense. I'm also like, not as much now, I guess, but I used to be try to be environmentally friendly and try not to waste. But I have also learned that like, if you can afford certain things and you can be more picky, then like, I understand, you know, it's like, hey, I can have something better than this. I can throw this away or whatever. But because you yourself is not really directly doing the harm, but it's more on the grander scheme when it's just like such a waste of anything really.
So this is a good one because this prompts a story in my head. I know you know where this is going. So Alex definitely, like I said, I was at this house so much. It's second home. I call his parents mom and dad.
Same with yours.
Yeah, exactly. We were back and forth all the time. So I would very freely just go over to Alex's house and wander through the cabinets and see what I could snack on that day. And his mom apparently took the non-wastefulness to such an extreme level where things could be in that cabinet for a very long time.
Yes.
And my little naive ass never checked the date on any of this stuff. And I learned this lesson the hard way. There was one time, this had to be late elementary school, early middle school.
I was thinking like, 4th, 5th grade.
Yeah. So like super, super early. And you know what, though? Actually, I think our memories are failing us there because we both thought that. But I think that the story was actually freshman or sophomore year because I'm thinking of the date gap from when it expired to when I ate it.
Good point.
So it was freshman or sophomore year.
Yes.
Jack
was there too.
Yes, he was. I was really hungry. And it was one of the few times actually where the snack pickings were scarce. Like your mom was always stocked up on the Pop-Tarts, the Lay's, the Cheez-Its, and you and Lucas must have like plowed through all of them like that week and she just hadn't gone shopping yet. So I reached into the back of the cabinet and found this bag of Alphabet cookies. And I had never heard of this brand. I had never seen it. I was like, oh, look, I mean, some fucking Alphabet cookies. These are really cool. They were almost in a Pop-Tart package. And I should have known right when I opened them and caught like a whiff of like the packaging residue. I was like, holy shit, like these like are gnarly, but I'm fucking hungry and we have practice in an hour, so I'm going to eat it anyway. I took a bite of this cookie and I'm honestly not sure what arsenic tastes like, but if I had to guess, it was pretty close to that fucking Alphabet cookie.
It smelled like rat poison. Like it was so bad.
And me being the hypochondriac I am, I started freaking the fuck out. I was like, oh my God, dude, what the fuck? What the fuck? What is this? What do you have in your house? Holy shit, what did I just eat? Yeah. And at first you were like, dude, there's no way it could be that bad. And then you took the bag.
And I ate one.
Yeah.
That's how confident and how much against I am wasting. I go, you're being extra, Matt. You're wasting again.
Was I being extra that day?
And I took a bite and I spit it out like all over the place.
Yeah.
It was like, oh my God, this is poison.
I did too. So we
was
looked.
disgusting.
We looked at the date, and this is why I'll never forget. It was freshman year of high school because those cookies had expired in 2002, and the year I
10
ate
years.
them was fucking 2012,
Yep.
first semester of high school.
It was 10-year-old.
10 years past the expiration date that they had sat in that fucking cabinet.
That's more things got pushed to the back and got forgotten about. But it's also a lot of like, if you don't need to throw this away, that like then you could probably still use it.
Oh my God.
And it just had gotten
dude.
pushed to the back, and you were like, oh, this looks cool.
Yeah.
So funny.
The poison cookie story. We
Since-
tell that one frequently to our
Yes.
friends nowadays too.
Yes. And since then, we've actually, I remember after that being like, okay, we have to do like one run through to make sure there's nothing like that left in there.
Yeah, totally.
That was so funny. Yeah, that shit tasted awful.
It was hilarious though.
Yeah.
That was it's still to this day one of the funniest stories that I tell. Like,
Yeah.
where, like people are always like 10 years, and I was like, yeah, 10 years.
I don't know how it made it that long. I probably still have some shit like that. Maybe we'll do a taste test video.
Go to your house, like somewhere in the Bay Area,
Yeah. You're like,
ransack the cabinets.
here's Count Chocula cereal from 1999. Let's see how it tastes. There's like worms in it.
Dude, do like non-perishables and see if they actually are non-perishable.
I bet I could find some.
I bet
could.
we could.
Do you want to do pet peeve?
Yeah. What do you think my pet peeve is? Because I can definitely think of it. Right. I had my answer locked in for that one.
I don't know. I literally have no clue. So I almost didn't want to bring it up because I was like, I have no idea what your biggest pet peeve is. I don't know. We're trying to do this kind
It's
of
also
off top.
It's I'll give you the hint. It is also behavior of people.
Okay. Because I was going to say something to do with driving, like bad drivers at first.
Sorry, I gave it away, but I actually didn't think of that one. That would have been a good one, but that would not have been on my paper.
Yeah. Let's see. I don't know. I really don't know. Maybe like just fucking dude, I don't know. You gotta tell me. Maybe like people just being like fucking assholes. I don't know.
So that's really close.
People like shutting something down, or I don't know. Go ahead.
On paper, what drives me more insane, and like I will immediately, if it's someone that I'm close to, I have no problem calling them out on it, and I will let them know right away. None of our close friends are like this. And if it's somebody that I wasn't close with before, it's an immediate deal breaker with me. I'm like, I'm not going to be your friend, and I don't want to hang out with you or see you anymore. Is if people are rude or assholes to service industry people in restaurants.
Good one.
The way
That's definitely yours, dude.
The way that people treat waiters and waitresses and just people in general, and impatience at restaurants too.
Yes.
Like people impatient and not understanding of small fuck ups that happen. Like I understand that, you know, sometimes we work hard days, and when you go out to eat, you want exactly what you want so that you're happy. But people who express impatience at restaurants, like when things are like, oh my God, it's moving so slow. They're so slow here. Like, fuck you. And especially when they actually express it to the waiters and waitresses. If, like I said, if I'm close with them, I'll call them out on it immediately. I'm like, when you're with me, you don't speak to them that way. Like that is not what you do. That is not how we treat people.
That's for sure yours.
And then if I'm not close with them, like they're done. They're fucking, they're gone.
That's pretty good. I was starting to think of more, but those are more things that like I really don't like. But that's a really good pet peeve. That's pretty perfect.
It's my biggest pet peeve.
The one I was gonna say, maybe we'll lose some fans for this, was horoscopes.
Oh, that's a good one.
That might be my pet peeve. Sorry for those who believe in horoscopes, and I think they're fun and interesting, but I do think it's just like it's just judging someone off something that they didn't choose, right? And just that term, if I told you what's judging someone off something they didn't choose, you could say that's racism, sexism, all like the worst things are based off of, oh, I'm making fun of you because of where you were born, what you look like, stuff like that. And literally it's basing shit off you based on the time you were born at. It's just so out of nowhere.
And we both met people who were like, oh my God, you're a Virgo. I don't know.
I'll never forget.
I don't know.
I was at UC Berkeley at a party, and I was with my girlfriend at the time, and she introduced me to like her best friend who went to UC Berkeley, and we're talking, and his girlfriend was also there. So it's like the four of us. And I met her And then she said, oh, like, what's your sign? And I'm like, oh, I'm a Cancer. And she's like, oh, sorry. Like, I can't talk to you. And like walked away. I was like,
no fucking way.
We're here to hang out.
No way. She said, I can't talk to you.
Yeah. She's like, like, that's not going to happen then. And like walked away at the party. Like it was a party for like maybe like 20, 30 people. And I was like, we're here to all hang out. And then like, did not fuck with me from that point on. Insane. I was like, you go to UC Berkeley. You're supposed to be like the smartest people. Like,
dude, like, but the other thing that pisses me off about this too is like, I see on Instagram stories frequently like, oh my God, if this isn't classic Sagittarius behavior, and then like 3 of the most common fucking behaviors I've ever seen in my life, I'm like, I do all of those things and I'm not even close to a Sagittarius.
Exactly. It's a trick to make it popular and to get it to work, which I get. And I think you could look into it in a fun way. And it's a cool way to bond with people when you don't know them. But like to take it to that extent is when it bothers me. It's like, oh, you're actually letting this affect who you hang out with before you even knowing. Judging someone before you even know them is a big thing for me.
I agree 100%. And just to give some of our listeners the benefit of the doubt, I have talked to certain people in my life who are incredibly into astrology.
Same.
In a way that I can actually get with, where they study it, and it's almost like my thing with Sadhguru and Eastern Science, where it's attractive and it's almost like a faith system, and they actually put the work in to be able to explain it. Like I had a really good friend in college who was super into it, and he would explain to me, he's like, okay, the trait system kind of works this way when it's, most people think that it's, oh, you're just a Virgo, so you're this, but the way that it's explained, they're a rising moon.
So pretty much you could be any of them.
I respect people being, I respect people being passionate about things.
Totally.
And,
me too.
And I think that there is a certain degree of truth to individuals, like you said, but judging somebody immediately like that,
Exactly. That was a freak scenario.
Excuse my terminology, not just because she's a woman, just in general. That bitch is crazy. The one that said, I can't talk to you because, oh my God, are you fucking kidding me?
She's going to be some genius somewhere with some very great high paying job. And I'm just going to be like, do you realize that this, like, it just
she's a fucking moron.
blew me away. But yeah, so I totally agree. I have a lot of friends. I mean, tons. I have family members who believe in it. It doesn't affect me that way. But when you take it to that extreme, that's probably my number one pet peeve.
That's a good one. That's a really good one.
For those listeners, if you do believe in it, keep doing it. But just remember, like, hey, not everyone.
Be fucking cool.
Yeah, don't judge a book by its cover, right? Like, if you're willing to do that, you'd probably be willing to do a lot more than judging someone off the day they were born.
Also, like, stop using Google and Yahoo horoscopes to define your personality. Again, like the people like that I was talking about that are really into it, read full-length articles, books, shit like that. Like, they know what they're talking about. If you're posting on your Instagram story like, oh my God, my room is so messy all the time, if I'm not a classic Sagittarius, like, what are you doing, man?
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah,
that's a very
I agree 100%.
Okay, I have a couple other on here, but I'm gonna hand it back to you because I don't know if I want to do them yet.
Okay, that's cool. We'll think about that. So this is a hard one. This is a hard medium one, actually.
Okay.
Who was the first celebrity that I cried over their death?
Oh, dude, I saw this one and I had my answer and I think I forgot it. Bourdain's a good call, but I don't think it's him. I think it's fuck. I had it earlier. You're gonna say it and I'm gonna be like, fuck, that was it. Shoot.
2010s.
What did they do? Music. Actor? What's the guy from Fast and Furious?
Ooh, Paul Walker? Good guess.
No?
But no, I did not cry over Paul Walker.
Okay. Who is it? I don't know.
The first celebrity.
You're going to say it and I'm going to be like, fuck.
That I could ever remember actually feeling the weight of their death. Bourdain was 2018. He was the second one.
Yeah, I knew that wasn't the first one, but I knew that would have been.
That's why the specific answer was so celebrity death obviously is my biggest influence. His death destroyed me. I was fucked up for like a week.
Yeah.
And I just, reread his books, watched all the shows. I was crying for weeks, like with that one. Mm-hmm. But the first one that I actually shed real tears over, And I don't know what it was, because I wouldn't say she was so influential in my life or anything like that. But when Carrie Fisher died on Star Wars Day, we're talking about this. When Carrie Fisher died, I was just like, no way.
Wow.
And just like such a strong, prominent, just kind of like figure to me growing up, like that represented this level of strength that wasn't represented too often.
No.
Unfortunately, because of the way Hollywood was run for so long by females in the industry and stuff like that, she was just the epitome of this badass who like stood for everything. And the way that she kind of carried herself, obviously she struggled with her own vices and whatever, going through Hollywood, and everybody has those types of things. But even what she stood for in real life, and the activism that she was a part of in terms of having more leading roles for women in the industry and just stuff like that.
Big for that.
She was huge. And I just remember finding out about her dying and being devastated because of how big of Star Wars fans we were too. Like, to me, that was Princess Leia. Like, Princess Leia just died, and that to me,
she is a very strong character. And I bet, I mean, we weren't alive when it came out, but I bet at that time people were just shocked. Like, whoa, she's saying this in that movie. She's treating the guys like this. Like, it was so sick. That's a really good one.
Big fat nerf herder.
What is he? Who you calling scruffy looking?
Scruffy looking nerf herder. Yeah. That's what it was. Scruffy looking
nerf herder.
Nerf herder.
And like Chewbacca's right there, like.
Okay.
Do you know mine?
First celebrity death that, I think.
I'll give you a spoiler. The real answer is no one. I don't think I've cried over a celebrity death, but I've been very sad and distraught about it for sure. So maybe I just didn't express it in that direct way.
I'm not locking in yet. I'm thinking out loud. I immediately go Lil Peep. Is a big one. I know that was just like a really sad death that
it's one of those too soon ones.
Yeah, it was so unnecessary and just really, really difficult to comprehend why these things happen.
Definitely.
And how we go about it.
So I guess my version is the first celebrity death that really impacted me and that I really thought about, I guess.
Yeah, that really got to you. But also, I think you're somebody who takes I'm gonna lock in Peep. I don't even think I need to think about this one more. I'm gonna lock in Peep.
So that was my first thought, was like, it's probably Peep. I couldn't think of anyone else. But then I remember when I was a really little kid, when Steve Irwin died, the crocodile hunter, I loved his show. To me, he was like Superman. Like he was the shit. And then he died, not even to a crocodile. I was like, but this man wrestles crocodiles. He can do anything. And I used to hate fucking stingrays. And like, I was very upset for a very long time.
That one was tough. Shit. That was another one of those ones where it's just, you ask why this cruel fate of the universe. He was very
like bright light in the world. He made content for kids, like, oh my God.
And adults, and just this whole attitude towards nature and what, life should really be about, and being in harmony, living in harmony with other members of the animal kingdom, and not thinking of ourselves as this glorious, albeit this earth was for us and us alone. He was really one of the first people that taught our generation, like, this is important. These we share the earth with these creatures. And so I remember being
everything with that respect.
Yeah, I didn't cry over that one either, but I was also very distraught as a child. And also that was one of the ones that put mortality into a check.
Yeah, it was also like probably the first celebrity death that I was very conscious and aware of. I'm not sure how old we were, but it had to have been like, we were probably like 7, 8, or 9 or something.
I remember where I was when I found out about that too. I was in the aquarium at Crab Cove.
Whoa.
Yeah.
What a moment.
I remember some family of kids came in, family and their kids came in, and they were talking about it. And I remember the guy working at the aquarium hadn't found out yet. And he went, wait, what? And he started crying right there.
Oh,
he was really, really fucked up about
especially
it, like right there.
When that's your passion, it's like that's your.
He was working at an aquarium.
Idol. Like that's who you strive to be.
Yeah,
that was a tough one. Peep really was massive. One. Peep was definitely like someone who I just thought was like a true, like pure soul, made great music, made great art, and like really was on track to make a huge impact. And it was very sad to me that like he wasn't able to do that. But now when I think about it, and how I've seen his like legacy live on, it doesn't make me as sad anymore because I know that like it's not the end of the story truly. Like it's been spread on through so many more people. So that one, there's something to that. Same thing with Steve Irwin. I think he just would have had his first grandkid recently.
Yeah, he would have.
I think Bindi just had a kid who's his daughter.
Dude, when they post about him, it hits home every single fucking time.
Fuck.
And they're all so positive.
Yes.
Like everything they post, there's so much negativity in the world, and everything that comes from the Irwin family is in total light of Steve, which is just positivity and eco-friendliness and being just more conscious of how we interact with nature.
He's literally like wrestling an alligator, smiling like, this is the best shit in the world. Like you can't make that up. You can't fake that.
You really can't. And his wife also is really inspirational too, because I think we live in this world where true love isn't undervalued, of course. Actually, I would say if anything, it's a little overvalued, but they were kind of a beacon where she was always asked, are you going to remarry and stuff like that? And she's like, I had my happily ever after. And they didn't get to live their whole lives together as clearly they intended. And she's still, I think, holding on to seeing him again one day. And again, I personally don't believe in that, but that's amazing.
She felt fulfilled.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah. 100%.
She didn't feel the need to like, there's nothing else I need or no one else I need. I don't think there's anything wrong with that either. I think that's actually a great thing.
I do too. And I think in a world of a lot of superficiality or people being very superficial, that's a very, very genuine approach to this life. And it's a beautiful thing.
They were also celebrities because I really don't like the idea of celebrity and like worshiping or idolizing these people. But these were some people I thought that weren't, at least to my knowledge at the time, weren't tainted by the industry of it and everything yet. Like a lot of people are, I feel like
really just genuine.
Yeah,
really
maybe there were, but it seemed like they really loved what they did and like wanted to make a difference, which I think is cool.
I think at a point, if you're in the limelight long enough and nothing bad comes out about you, that to me is faith that they're actually good people.
I would like to hope so, but nowadays it's just so hard to tell.
It is. But
those were ones I felt, at least at the time, I was a kid, pretty good about.
I'm going to keep the image of the Irwins in my head very positive.
Yeah. Love you, Steve.
Rest in peace, baby.
What's the next one? What we got?
All right, so this one is one that I was going to do, and we've talked about this topic before, but I still think that this is going to be a really difficult one. So,
also, just to let the listeners know, we haven't scored in a while. Which means either we're asking tough questions or we're really bad at this game. But go ahead. We haven't scored a point in a while.
Oh.
We haven't gotten one right. But we've been very close on almost all of them.
We've been very close on all of them. Because actually, you're really good at keeping score in games. I know you wouldn't have missed if we needed a point.
No, I don't think I did. Maybe I did. I've been drinking a glass of wine. Go ahead.
Fuck it.
I'm pretty close.
This is a really fun game. We're learning too. Like,
it's really
cool. I like this a lot.
I think the good part of it is even if you don't get them right, then you know them now, and now you're even closer. So that's cool.
Also, the approach that we're taking, I've seen a lot of these videos. I was watching in kind of preparation for this, and a lot of them are just like tacky as fuck. Like, what was my first car?
Yeah.
No, it wasn't.
That's why I thought of it. I was like, what's something that's like that I always hate, but I see a lot that I think we could do better. And that's why I was like, this would be fun.
Yeah, I think this is really cool. Also, this trust that we're putting, like we haven't scored in a while because even though we're not doing the paper, we're like, no, that's not what my initial answer.
I could definitely give you some, but we're being tough.
What the fuck is the fun in that?
Exactly.
All right. Here's a challenging medium one.
Okay.
Because I think it took a while for me to find this passion for literature, and I think in general it's actually a bad idea that we give kids books as early as we do. And one of our good friends, John Coyle, actually, and I'll touch on this more after I ask the question, but what do you think is the most life-changing book that I've read in my life?
That you've read?
That I've read, that changed my life. What book really changed my life? And I'll give you a hint right off the bat. We talked about him a lot. It wasn't Bourdain. Bourdain's book was great, but it didn't. Yeah. It was really his the stuff about him that changed my life were his interviews and his television show, and then his later books after Kitchen Confidential. But that I'll give you that hint right off the back. It wasn't a Bourdain book.
Best piece of literature. That's tough.
One that changed my life.
Changed your life. I don't know. My first.
There's two answers that I'll take here.
I'm thinking it's a Noam Chomsky maybe, but I can't even think of the title of the book, so I feel like that's not it. I don't know. I don't really read, so I don't know a lot
It's
of
okay,
books.
we'll get you there, man.
I've gotten this far. I do read a little bit, but not.
You
not
do.
like that.
When we go to the cabin, you like reading. It's more like of a getaway, kind of relaxing thing for you, huh?
Yeah, I like to read I like to read history and like entertaining stuff. Not as much like
Yeah.
I'm gonna take something away. Dude, I don't know. I really have no clue. I'm guessing it's a philosophy thing, but that would be the only. I definitely don't know the name.
Mm-hmm.
So no, I don't know. If you say it, I think it'll click. But there's one I'm thinking of.
Two books to me that changed my life and like my outlook on the world. One of them was given to me by Seth, called The Last Lecture by Randy Pausch.
Oh, I do remember you getting that. Yep.
That book, obviously, Randy Pausch and Feldman had a lot of stuff in common. They had a lot of similar ways of thinking about life and the approach. But this book, the way that he talked about life and the love for life and how to really, I can do whatever I want. Yeah, you can do whatever you want through hard work and all this stuff. It really changed my perception about what your attitude is like towards things and how you can kind of put in your own mind towards accomplishing your goals. And then the second one, you were absolutely right with philosophy. It wasn't a Noam Chomsky book. A lot of Noam Manufacturing Consent made me feel a lot about how I do about media and all my criticisms of, manufacturing this consent.
No, I knew it had to be before that.
It was a classic by Seneca, How to Die.
How to Die.
We talked about it a little bit in episode 1, which is why I thought this was a good question, because that book, until I had read that, I was more fearful of death than anything else. It was my biggest fear in the world. And then I read that book and I went, oh, I don't have to be afraid.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. That's awesome. That's a good one.
And the reason I asked that, and I predecessed with, I think we shouldn't give kids books, is our good friend, Johnny C., said to me once, he's like, I don't think we should give kids books in high school because it took me being an adult and having some life experiences of my own first to really appreciate the hard work and dedication it takes to tell a life-changing story and actually have a book mean something to you. And when we assign children books, even if they're very deep and meaningful, it's not going to click.
So I think what you're more trying to say is we shouldn't have kids not read, but we shouldn't assign and force reading of books like that.
Exactly.
If it's not, because then they're gonna not like it. They're gonna almost want to do the opposite, because that's how kids work a lot of times. So
we should definitely have them read, but I really think they should always be able to pick it.
Yeah,
learning to read is one of the most important things in being a human, but not forced.
Yeah, we had a really awful 8th grade English teacher, but one thing I really did like is that we got a list of books to choose from for our reading. It made her teaching very hard. That's the reason why they don't do it, because you can't teach about 20 different books. But it was cool because I ended up reading The Hobbit, which I loved, and like that spurned a whole thing for me, and I would have never gotten that otherwise.
In retrospect,
there's a way to do
she was one of the better ones that we had too. She was a nice old lady. Yeah. She let me write whatever I want. I wrote some awful stuff in the journal because of what I was going through in middle school at the time. Yeah. And she just would like respond, I'm sorry you feel that way, and like not get me in trouble or anything. Like I wrote for an 8th grader, some terrible shit. Yeah. And she was cool. She was like, it's expressive. You're writing. You're at least doing the assignment.
Yeah, so I agree. I like that.
She was cool in her own ways, but yeah, definitely just like her big thing, like she would waste so much class time lecturing us about how we were wasting class time. Yeah, like, that's what most of class felt like.
That was a fun back and forth. And we would just see how long we could go and time it and shit.
Just be like, such little fucking pricks.
Yeah, it's like, oh, we're wasting time. Keep telling us we're wasting time as we count the clock down.
Yeah, definitely.
You want to guess my favorite piece of literature? I don't really have one, but
I'm gonna guess you really like reading about history. I know that you're definitely fascinated with that kind of stuff. You like real events and things like that, but also Fuck, dude. I don't know. You don't talk about books that much.
I don't read books, so yeah, you're right.
I don't know. Yeah, tell me.
So my favorite book series growing up was the
Harry Potter.
Percy Jackson.
Percy Jackson.
Because I really like Greek mythology and stuff like that. And I actually read a lot about.
Those are good books.
Yeah, I had another book. I forget the name, but it was like Greek mythology and all the gods. That was one of my favorites. But I actually find one of the most interesting, and not because I like believe it or even think about it, it's the Bible actually. To me, I think the Bible is the most important or influential piece of literature of all time. And so it's really interesting to read it and then put it in context with other things. So to see like how the stories of the Bible apply to stories we hear today.
That is the newest thing I've learned about you in years.
Funny enough, I don't read the Bible, but we went to church for so many years that I've heard the whole Bible through at least 5 times.
Yeah.
Right? And we had
the story so well.
Yeah. So it's not necessarily like I sit there and read it, right? But the stories or the allegories or whatever, what do they call them when Jesus would give like those
parables?
Yeah. I find very interesting. And there is a lesson to them, and not necessarily believing in all of them, but just seeing like reading them and then seeing how it's influenced the world since that point. And that's why I want to get more into reading like the Torah, which is kind of pretty much the Old Testament, and books from other religions to just see like how it's influenced whole cultures and stuff like that. Because the Bible is the way you see America. You can see how it's influenced America. You see it in our film. You see it in other books and the hero's journey and stuff like that. So I find that the most intriguing and more interesting because I think it's the number one selling book. So it's like, why, you know?
Also, I'm so sorry. I've been looking at the dots. I've been back and forth. You're going to be fucking cursing my name in post.
It's okay. Don't worry about it.
On that note, I just came up with one that's, I guess, a little bit of a medium one.
New question.
Yeah. What was my favorite aspect of Catholicism?
I don't know. The wine at church? No. That's tough.
Because I hate the Catholic Church.
Hate's a strong word.
I despise the Catholic Church. I'll use an even stronger word. I'll fucking double down.
Yeah. I mean, the systems, the institution. Yeah, for sure. What everything it stands for and stuff like that, I wouldn't say that. I think there's a lot of positives in the base of it. Like the 10 Commandments are not a bad thing. They're pretty good things. Stuff like that. But you're right. A lot of it's pretty awful. What did you say? Your favorite part about it?
My favorite aspect of Catholicism, specifically.
Either the stories or like maybe saints. I don't know. I have no clue.
For me, it's the aspect of community.
Oh yeah.
I really, I disagree with the Catholic Church and the institutions and stuff like that, but growing up in that Catholic community and really feeling like I had that support system and people looking out for me and people who knew who I was, it was just, it was so great. Yeah.
Is massive. And the cool part about ours is everyone is unique. And so like, even though it's a Catholic community, they don't strictly follow Catholic teachings and stuff like that. Like, it's not like you get excommunicated for everything that the Catholic Church would not like about you.
Yeah. Any more in the medium category that you can think? Unless you also want to ask it. I just was interested to see if you would get that one right.
Yeah.
Percy Jackson was a good book. I would have. I should have guessed Harry Potter. We talked about that earlier, but Percy Jackson was a really, really good pick.
Yeah, that's like what happened. My house was under construction, and I read the whole series in like 3 days. It's like 5 books. I read them in 3 days because I couldn't watch TV. I couldn't play video games. I only read when I'm forced to read at my cabin, something like that. And then I go, man, I really love reading, and then I kind of stop. I read a lot of articles and stuff, and like newspaper stuff, but that's about it. Nothing great here.
Should we move on to tier 3?
Let's go to tier 3. I might throw in a couple of tier 2s.
Would it be impossible for me to take a quick bathroom break in between?
No, go for it.
Okay, I'm going to do it real quick.
We'll be right back.